China wants to transform the rural area. It has eliminated rural poverty. Now the task is to increase the personal wealth and financial well-being of the rural population. But the question is, how to do that when your only source of income is still from traditional farming? Well, that takes a bit of an innovation. The innovation we are talking is not about creating something new, but rather building upon something old to achieve much bigger business scale. This is how it's done. Many male ethnic people live in the southern part of Hainan Island. Tea has been grown here for generations. Zhong Feixiu is a local Miao girl. Growing tea has been part of her life since childhood. But the village used to have very little connection to the outside world, as there were no big roads back then. So the locals only grew tea for their own consumption or sold it to neighboring villages. As a result, tea couldn't bring them any extra income. Until 2014, the area was still in poverty, but change happened.
In 2014, our village became part of the poverty alleviation program. We got financial aid and new roads connecting the cities. People came to check out this place to see if they could help us make a living. Tea was the first thing mentioned. Many rounds of tea-making training happened, and many of the villagers participated.
To truly lift themselves out of poverty and earn a long-term economic income, people in rural areas need to be empowered with skills and a new mentality to create wealth.
I used to only make green tea, but a group of tea experts from Fujian came here to stay for a while. I was excited because of the valuable chance to learn how to make black tea from them.
Gradually, a mature business model for the production and sales of tea slowly emerged.
I've got more financially less privileged villagers on board. We've signed contracts. I collect raw tea from them and share some sales income with them. They're in charge of caring for the tea gardens and hills. The tea is very clean and we don't use any pesticide. I hope my little tea workshop can expand and have much bigger sales.
What Zhong Feixiu wants to do now is to use the modern internet to spread the tea love and attract more people to taste the unique flavor of her tea. And the internet is where a local ethnic fashion designer started her entrepreneurial journey. Chen is from the local Li ethnic community in Hainan.
Li brocade is an intangible cultural heritage. It's a precious art form from my hometown. After college, I returned home, but realized that my hometown was so closed off from the outside world. So I thought I could gather some fine brocade works from local craftswomen in Li villages and help them sell online.
With this knowledge, Chen became more confident in combining modern fashion aesthetics with the Li brocade. Her work has also won her awards in local fashion design competitions. All of this encouraged her to go further.
In my hometown, there are more than 100 Li brocade craftswomen. I want to work with them closely. I can get orders for them, and they can use their skills to make the best brocade products that will turn into fashion items. We learn from each other. My crossover fashion designs have even taken my brand to fashion weeks.
And she hopes to introduce the Li brocade to a much broader audience.
I have worked with a designer from the University of Arts London. I invited her to come and study our brocade techniques further so she could come up with some unique designs for her graduation collection. That could attract more attention from people overseas to this cultural heritage.
In China, many rural areas are poor economically, but rich in local farm produce, culture, and natural sceneries. But rural people didn't know how to use these resources to create wealth. They need help, not simply financial aid, but skills to make a difference. When they are empowered to think creatively, new ideas will be ignited, and the rural area will thrive just as quickly as the big cities in China. Cheng, CGTN.